The one with Rachel's sister is the 13th episode of the 6th season of Friends. This is directed by Gary Halvorson, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. I'll talk about the main narrative in a little bit, but this is obviously the fact that Rachel's sister Jill has arrived. I've never liked Jill, or Rachel's other sister. I don't want to say too much about her in case you haven't seen those episodes, but her sisters are very annoying characters, but the episodes themselves are really good, particularly with the way other characters respond to Jill, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We have two other parts of the narrative, though, one with Joey, one with Monica and Chandler. Chandler is not falling for Monica's seduction because she is very, very sick. And I will say, Courtney Cox did an amazing job with this. I'm just assuming that she wasn't actually sick, and that she was acting sick. It wouldn't surprise me too much if she was sick in real life and they'd written it into the script, since they couldn't get around filming without her. But I have no reason to believe that. I believe she was just genuinely acting sick, and she makes me feel very, very sickly. And it's very effective. And Chandler feels the same way as Monica is trying to seduce him. He doesn't want to sleep with a sick person. And then she brings out the vapor rub, rubs it on herself, and I can't remember how I felt when I first saw this episode, so I knew what was coming. But we do have an interesting moment where Chandler is then seduced by Monica rubbing the vapor rub on herself and basically says, let's go to bed. And Monica refuses because she's sick. But when Chandler goes into the bedroom, we realise that Monica was doing it on purpose. But I will say, I don't understand why she wants to have sex when she's that sick. I can probably think of some things that are worse, but it doesn't seem like an activity I'd want to do if I was that ill. But I'm not Monica. Either way, a very sickly part of the episode, but very well done. Joey is still working at Central Park. I like the fact that this didn't just stop after one episode, and he's giving free food to all of the pretty women. And Gunther tells him, no, you can only do that if it's somebody's birthday. So, at various points in the episode, he is singing happy birthday to many different women, and Gunther ultimately revokes his ability to give out birthday muffins, which I thought was adorable. It's not a main part of the episode, but I enjoyed it. It was a nice way to bring Joey into the story. I had some fun with it. The main part, of course, focuses on Jill, and Jill is, of course, Rachel's sister, played by Reese Witherspoon, and she's not an unlikable character necessarily, but I do find her irritating, and I always have, but I think Reese Witherspoon did a great job with the performance, and basically her father has cut her off and sent her to visit Rachel to learn something from the only daughter he's proud of. Words like that would sting, but I think it definitely made Rachel, it did make Rachel feel really good about herself. There's a time and a place, but I'd like to say Rachel's father should take the time to say that to Rachel. You shouldn't have to hear from a sibling that your parent is proud of you. That says more about Rachel's father than it does anything else. But we know what kind of man Rachel's father is. And Phoebe and Ross are in Central Park. Jill is supposed to be trying to make it on her own, finding a job, getting an apartment. And she went shopping instead. And she shows all of her purchases, and then Rachel comes in. And as much as I don't like Jill, I did love this scene because Ross and Phoebe, for some reason, decide that they're not going to get Jill into trouble, and they pretend their purchases are theirs, and Phoebe bought the apartment pants and Ross bought a pashmina, which he thought was a rug. This taught me what a pashmina was. Back in the day I had no idea what it was. And once Rachel leaves, taking most of the purchases with her, Ross and Jill seem to be flirting with each other. And Rachel finds out about this and she asks Jill about it. Jill's not interested in dating a geek, but Rachel kind of accidentally tells her that she should, which is not what Rachel intended on doing. And Jill and Ross end up going on their date. We have an awkward moment in Central Park where they meet and Rachel's there, and Ross temporarily forgets Rachel's name, which is something I'm sure he wished he did several seasons ago. And they end up going on their date. Rachel is watching from Monica and Chandler's apartment, and she sees Jill in Ross's apartment. She suspects the worst, and those suspicions might be confirmed when the drapes are closed. And I'll say no more than that because this carries on into the next episode. But certainly it's a very interesting episode. It's peculiar because as much as I like the episode, I don't like Jill. Having said that, there are episodes with Emily that I really like, and I really don't like Emily, which I guess is a sign of quality writing, to allow me to enjoy those episodes, even if I don't like the characters. But as I said, I think the character's well written, and Reese Witherspoon does a great job with her. I just don't like the character's personality. But nevertheless, it's a really good episode. I don't think I have any personal highlights, really. I guess the apartment pants and Joey in general, just Joey's part of the story. But in general, definitely not a bad episode. I do really enjoy it. I probably would never skip it. Not a huge fan of Jill, needless to say. But nevertheless, the one with Rachel's sister is still a pretty good episode.